strong in that wide area too with Saka and Martinelli, and they want to limit the ability they have to get forwards.
Craig Pawson will referee this match, currently walking across towards the near side. He was on duty at Stamford Bridge during the week, taking charge of the Carabao Cup semi-final first leg between Chelsea and Tottenham. Well, Steve Cooper there, the manager of Nottingham Forest, came so close to guiding Swansea City into the Premier League last season before leaving the club in South Wales during the summer and taking up his new post at the City Ground in September. Well, the studious-looking pose of Mikel Arteta, who's seen it all before, knows what the FA Cup is about, having lifted the trophy as Arsenal's captain, and of course they won the FA Cup in his first season as manager as well. It's Nottingham Forest in red and white who will get the game underway after the players have taken the knee, to applause on all four sides of the City Ground. Live from the banks of the Trent in the East Midlands, Nottingham Forest, two-time winners of the FA Cup, not for 63 years though, against Arsenal, all in white. Arsenal today.
First tackle from Spence there, in on Martinelli. I think they're going to be hotly contested in that area of the pitch at the moment. Martinelli and Saka, they know the threat that they carry and they have to try and nullify that.
Arsenal looking as strong as they can in the circumstances. I think Granit Xhaka might have taken his place in midfield today. He's one of the latest to be struck down by the illness affecting so many around the world at the moment. He's out following Balogun, who has been strongly linked with a loan move to Middlesbrough, also unavailable today for Mikel Arteta, who's only just recovered from a second bout with COVID himself. He, of course, wasn't on the bench last week for the Manchester City match. Tell you what, Matthew, I knew the kit was all white. I wasn't so sure the numbers were going to be as well. Makes life interesting. Centering now, venturing forward down the far side into the figure of Bukayo Saka. Ben White.
That's a good job. You know what colour boots each player's wearing, Simon.
One slight miscontrol there by Nuno Tavares, who hasn't featured in the last couple of Premier League matches, but has featured in 13 in the league so far this season. He gives them an added dimension with his marauding runs down the left-hand side, that's for sure.
It's also one of the most hotly contested positions in the Arsenal team at the moment, I'd have to say. I mean, Mikel Arteta had serious thoughts about keeping him in the team when Kieran Tierney came back into fitness, and he actually kept Tierney on the bench for a couple of games. Absolutely,
Tierney had to wait 4 matches on the bench before he came back in. Well, there's Brice Samba, the goalkeeper for Nottingham Forest. He's the regular. We thought maybe Ethan Horvath might get an opportunity, the sometime USA international, but he's on the bench again today. Brice Samba is playing in the FA Cup for the first time today.
I mean, this is a full-strength team from Forest, bar Lewis Graben, you have to say. And I know it's a new signing in Davis, so has it really weakened Nottingham Forest? Well, we'll have to wait and see. But Graben is the recognised goal scorer. But other than that, you know, Steve Cooper's really gone with a strong lineup.
Yeah, and among the experienced players, Jack Colback, who just takes that throw in there, playing on the left-hand side today. Jack Colback, who's twice reached the quarter-finals of the competition during his time as a Sunderland player. Decent ball towards Jed Spence on the near side. They've got him on loan from Middlesbrough for the season, and I think I'm right in saying that Borough won't be recalling him. So good news for Forest there that the 21-year-old will be staying for the foreseeable future. Tavares with the throw then for Arsenal. Good opportunity for Eddie Nketiah for Arsenal today as well, Matt, isn't it? I mean, he's done very well in the League Cup this season, has barely had a sniff otherwise.
He's massively out of favour, really, when you think back to that season when Arsenal won the FA Cup and how him and Lacazette were almost rotating turns to play and start in the Premier League. He's really kind of dropped down the pecking order. probably looking to get away from the club as well, possibly.
Lovely little exchange. Zinchenko racing forward, and Bernd Leno swiftly off his line to make the grab. Among the many changes for Arsenal today, Bernd Leno coming in. We haven't seen too much of him this season, with Aaron Ramsdale coming in and doing so well, but an opportunity for the Germany international, and he had to be quick on his toes to respond here.
Yeah, lovely interchange. Davis looking right at home with his movement, a little 1-2s in there, just trying to open up that Arsenal back four.
Flicked header on towards Keenan Davis, looking to put himself about. Patino sliding in and winning the ball in the heart of Arsenal's midfield. There was a nod of acknowledgement there at that challenge from you, Matt.
Yeah, it was a good tackle, really good tackle. He might be quite slight, you know, to look at in physicality, but he certainly is brave in the tackle. He timed that lovely, slid down and got around the side of Davis and won the ball.
Robert Sabi Lokonga in the heart of Arsenal's midfield as well today, and Arsenal fans haven't seen so much of him over the last couple of months. The young Belgian international, only one substitute appearance since the end of November. You
mentioned Partey, Xhaka. I think that's a real area of the pitch that they have to put their foot in and be physical today in there. Well, they've started that way, Arsenal, with Patino with that tackle, but it's big responsibility on those two. You know, it's a key heart of the pitch, but they have to win that battle, and no more so in an FA Cup tie.
Martinelli scrambling after it, keeping Jed Spence busy. Just great to see the City ground packed to the rafters, absolutely buzzing. I mean, we sort of say it every year, don't we, Nottingham Forest, with this great history, and it's as though many people in the English game have been waiting for them to return to the top table for way too long now.
It's such a traditional stadium as well, isn't it, when you look at it? It's got that old school feel about it, but really grand stands, and like you say, the history runs deep.
Bang in the face there for Tavares. From Ryan Yates, returning to Nottingham Forest's team today. He missed the last match against Huddersfield. Martin Odegaard, the man with the ball at his feet here. Ben White among those venturing forward. Aptly named today in that kit. Odegaard considers his options. He's really started to blossom, hasn't he, this year, Odegaard? Arsenal fans starting to see what he's really capable of. In comes the delivery. Tavares will chase. White available for the pass.
Nobody really gambled on that back post then for Arsenal.
Saka flicking it forward, and the shot wide of the goal from Ben White.
He's capable, Ben White, as well. He comes forward with the ball really well. Very comfortable stepping in, but found himself very high up, just picking up that ball on the edge of the 18-yard box. But I was disappointed an Arsenal player wasn't following him from that initial free kick from Odegaard. The ball bounced in the box, and anyone gambling at the back post.
Brennan Johnson doing well. Nice little exchange with Zinchenko. Ball back with Scott McKenna. McKenna's got it again. Cook holding the pivotal role in the middle of that back three. I mean, there's a slight misunderstanding there as Joe Worrell plays the ball off him. But Matt, I mean, that was your area of the pitch. You get the impression that Steve Cook could be an excellent addition by Steve Cooper. So much experience for so long at Bournemouth. Plenty of Premier League experience too. Yeah,
absolutely. I think, you know, he's very, very comfortable with the ball. He played in a team with Eddie Howe predominantly that was so comfortable in playing out from the back. I think having him in a three probably suits him at his age and his stage of career. You start to lose that mobility a little bit and the pace. So playing him in the middle of a three where he can step out with the ball could really utilise his skill set well.
Player, of course, who played under Eddie Howe at Bournemouth for so long, and now having moved on, and Cook with Jonathan Woodgate in charge last season, and change of management during the summer, just seemed to, he had injury issues, but he seemed to fall out of favour as well. It was as though the club were keen to move on, but he's got another opportunity now and might have some work to do as well, with Arsenal looking to put some pressure on. That's Eddie Nketiah sending it out wide. Neglected here by Bukayo Saka. Flicking, time for the header clear by Worrell. Joe Worrell, by the way, who played in that 4-2 win over Arsenal 4 years ago in the third round. Oh, and nearly an opportunity for Brennan Johnson. That was a very timely interception by Rob Holding.
Yeah, it was a good early look at what Kiernan Davis is going to bring into this Nottingham Forest front line.
Ooh, this is a tasty flare-up between those two. We look forward to the continuation of that battle.
Yeah, I mean, I like the way he started, Davis. I really like the way he started. He's looking to put himself about, be physical, held the ball up really well then. Very nearly put his teammate in, but Holding stepped across early and read the play.
It's interesting, isn't it? Rob Holding, again, is another one who's been very much on the outside looking in terms of getting minutes in the first team lately, but he has started 2 FA Cup finals, won both of them in 2017 and 20.
Not a bad record, is it? Absolutely right. In the Premier League, you look at the 2 first choice in Gabriel and Ben White, and then after that, you know, you'd have to say that Holding will fill in, but those 2 have done so well.
Oh, what a pass that was from Ben White, collected by Saka. Nketiah's there just behind him. Ball played in towards Martinelli. Spence with an important interception, and now surging away, chased by Cedric, who challenges him, and Nottingham Forest with a free kick.
That's brilliant play from Spence, really good anticipation. I like the initial bit where he steps across and wins the ball and then carries it up the pitch for his team. Just pops it through Cedric's legs, who just catches him on the way through, but really good play from Spence. Cedric
playing today for the first time since the League Cup quarter-final. Passive looking on, but I guess nothing he wouldn't have expected. He knew his team would be in for a decent game today.
I mean, there's nothing in this first 10 minutes that doesn't indicate that that's what it's going to be. I think Forrest have really set about it. The introduction
of Davis. Interesting one from Nuno Tavares.
Deal with that. Have that one on your chest. I mean, this is an incredible pass back, really. He's totally miscued it, but Leno really, I mean, it's a shoulder, isn't it?
Yeah.
He tries to chest the ball, but there's no way he's going to get that under control and has to concede the corner.
And Leno was relaxed about it as anybody could be in the circumstances, I think.
Seemed pretty calm, didn't he? Didn't give him any kind of response verbally, just the look, I think, of what do you expect me to do with that?
Yeah, Joe Worrell and Steve Cook joining the attack here for Nottingham Forest, the Championship side, with their first corner. Garner delivers it. Stooping header clear, sturdy challenge, free kick for Arsenal.
Well, that is something that Holding does really bring to that back four. I think he's very commanding in the air. He can win set pieces and corners and deal with that quite comfortably.
He's played a couple of matches recently, started against Norwich on Boxing Day in the Premier League and got nearly half an hour last week off the bench when Gabriel got himself sent off.
Yeah, I mean, he's an important part of the squad, he really is, and I think his character is very strong. He's got a bit of leadership quality about him, and he's been at the club for quite some time now, so you know, he's an integral part of Mikel Arteta's plans.
Swept forward by Cedric. How about that for a pinpoint pass? Martinelli will love that. Can he do anything with it? He's got some support here on the near side. There's Charlie Patino getting forward.
There's Spence again with the tackle. I think Patino really was going to get his foot around that, and it's a diving tackle from Spence. Patino really finding himself quite high and wide on that left-hand side for a central midfield player.
Good cup tie for you to do, isn't it, this one? Of course, many people will remember you being so closely associated with Arsenal, but you've got half a foot in the Nottingham Forest camp as well, haven't you?
I think I've got half an appearance, to be honest. Yeah, I had a spell.
Hence why I said half a foot.
Yeah, half of something, to be honest. I had a spell there, probably a month, but got injured very early on, and really enjoyed it. It was a good club, but yeah, it wasn't to be for me there. David Platt was manager.
Spence wants the ball. He's made a very bright start. Tavares nudging it over the touchline on the near side. Player Arsenal side from Benfica last summer. 2 Portuguese players in the Nottingham Forest squad as well. Here's Kiernan Davis, who's been hustling and bustling early. Plenty of time for Cedric to send it forward towards Nketiah. He was watched closely by Cook. And now Scott McKenna back to Samba. Scott McKenna, Scottish international. They've certainly got players with plenty of ability and no small amount of experience in various parts of the field, this Nottingham Forest team.
It's got a nice balance to it, hasn't it? With, like you say, experience and youth. And players probably wanting to prove something as well, and I think that's something big for Steve Cooper. And in the resurgence of this team this season, I think a few players is questioned and asked them to prove themselves, and I think they've come up trumps on that front.
Also signed Richie Laria yesterday from Toronto FC, 3.5-year deal. No doubt he will be involved soon as well. Quarter of an hour into this Emirates FA Cup third round tie, nothing in it between these two, neither goalkeeper forced to break sweat to any great degree. There was just that interesting back pass from Nuno Tavares for Bernd Leno to deal with, nothing else really.
But neither team really getting control of the game either. It's been a little bit scrappy, not a lot of controlled possession or pattern of passing or anything. Both teams really pressing quite well, Forrest especially, not giving Arsenal much time on the ball.
The voice of former England international Matthew Upson, formerly of Arsenal and also very briefly Nottingham Forest, among others. Arsenal with the free kick, and Albert Sambi Lokonga will take it. Back with White, and now Cedric. Lokonga sweeping it forward. It's a long chase for Ødegaard, headed out by James Garner. Garner, an England under-21 international, playing in the Nottingham Forest midfield. Player they signed from Manchester United last summer, having had him on loan previously. Another one of their promising young players, Ødegaard. Now Cedric. Great noise inside the City ground, the home crowd doing their bit. Vast majority of them up out of their seats at the moment, but it's Arsenal on the attack. With Martinelli. Deflection, just carrying that up and beyond the goal and away for a corner.
Yeah, not for the first time. Arsenal looking to work those wide areas. Martinelli on the left, very tricky. Got that lovely kind of stop and go, change of direction. Very difficult for defenders to handle.
Brice Samba hasn't had a save to make yet. Is that about to change? Ødegaard looking to create, straight into the gloves of the Forest goalkeeper, who looks to get things moving, trying to pick out Davis, who's attempts to break free of the clutches of Ødegaard in the Arsenal midfield, see him brought to ground, and referee Craig Pawson was well placed but felt there was no foul.
No, well, you felt and saw the reaction of Ødegaard straight away, got up and told the referee, I won the ball, and he's in a good position. I love the reaction from Samba to see that throw, really good throw out from the goalkeeper to try and set Forrest on the counter. I think Kiernan Davis is going to be lively and aware of that ball all day.
He did well, didn't he, actually, Samba? There was a bit of traffic in and around him as well in white. But here come Nottingham Forest once more. Brennan Johnson now up against Charlie Patino. Johnson sends it across, it's beyond Davis, it doesn't reach Jack Colback. Forrest still on the front foot, collected by Spence. Faced by Martinelli. This is Ryan Yates. Forrest moving the ball around confidently and crisply, looking for an opportunity. Yates. Garner finds McKenna, forward to Colback. Back with Jed Spence. Nice little roll under the boot there, and Nottingham Forest will have a throw-in. Good little passage of possession.
It really was nice. 1- and 2-touch passing, good movement.
Now Martinelli with a chance to stretch his legs, and the frustration on his face at the miscontrol.
I think there's a little opportunity just to pass that one inside or come inside the pitch. The moment he went on the outside there, Martinelli was always going to run out of space.
This whole portion of the season is a great opportunity for him, isn't it, Matthew, at the moment? With all the issues with Aubameyang, even before he went away to the African Cup of Nations, Martinelli really being given a run in the team and an opportunity to shine by his manager.
Yeah, absolutely. No Pepe either, who's away. So I think, in that area of the pitch, Arsenal, I was looking on the bench today to think, well, who... I was a little bit surprised to see maybe Saka starting, but when you start to peel it back, they haven't got too many options in that area. So big chance for Martinelli.
Arsenal's bench today, Pablo Mari, Callum Chambers, Alex Lacazette, Ramsdale, of course, the goalkeeper, Kolasinac, Kieran Tierney, and three youngsters as well, Salah Eddin, Nika Biereth and Mari Hutchinson. More of them perhaps if we see them later on, but the way this game's going, it looks as if Arsenal might need all hands on deck for the 90 minutes at the City Ground. And again, Jed Spence.
Well, he started the game on fire, this lad. He's got real intensity about him. Getting forwards, tracking back, tackling. Very first opening seconds, he puts the tackle straight in on Martinelli, and he's intent on going that way as well.
Third year in a row he's played in the third round, the 21-year-old. So the last couple of years for Middlesbrough against Tottenham and Brentford. Another big one today.
They need good movement in the box here, Nottingham Forest. I can see they're starting along the line of the Arsenal defensive line. Just want to see a good bit of movement, try and lose your marker, get a run across the opponent.
Goalless delivery doesn't make its way past Martinelli.
He's in the perfect position, wasn't he? Just try to whip that ball behind him, and Martinelli, they're standing there for a reason, just to try and cut that line in between the goalkeeper and the defence.
Bit of a nightmare if you're the free kick taker and you don't get it past a one-man wall, though, isn't it? Let's be honest.
It is, but sometimes you can't hit it where you want to hit it, and you've got to improvise. That's why Martinelli's standing there saying, no, you're not going to put it in that danger area. You're going to have to clip it to the back post or cut it back nearer to the penalty spot.
Yeah, right place there, Martinelli, that's for sure. Spence in towards Davis, who continues to make a general nuisance of himself without having something resembling a goal-scoring opportunity so far. This is Jack Colback being held up by Cedric. Back by Yates to Worrell. Eddie Nketiah sniffing around for any crumbs that might drop his way. Tavares making sure that he got in ahead of Jed Spence. He's blocked off by Yates.
The referee seemed fairly...
referee happy with that.
I mean, it was a little bit 50-50, wasn't it? I do think that he did come across Yates and just get his arm across the face of Tavares, but got the job done.
High and long by McKenna, but effective into Colback. The attempted shot takes a deflection off Lokonga. It's straightforward for Burnley, and it was Philip Zinkernagel. Philip Zinkernagel got the shot in, the Danish loanee from Watford. Tavares.
Got a nice organised front three or front four, Nottingham Forest, pressing really well, trying to stop Arsenal with their patient build-up and passing to create the space. They're not allowing them any of those balls through the middle of the pitch.
Holding. Time to try and pick his pass, and the fleet-footed figure of Martinelli continues his first half duel with Jed Spence. Way off the boot of Brice Samba, from the Marseille and Caen goalkeeper.
Poor ball, really. It's a good run from Ghana from midfield. Saw the space, but the pass just let him down.
is Martinelli. Now Cedric. Solid defending, this time by Cook, up towards Davis. Look at the attacking areas so far, a quarter of the way through the match from Arsenal. Saka occupying the hand touchline for much of the opening 24 minutes. Ben White. It's just dropping off, White being afforded plenty of time in possession of the ball. Here's Saka now up against Jack Colback. Good play by Saka. Odegaard trying to thread it back in, doesn't fall at the feet of Martinelli. Cleared away by Cook.
A typical little Odegaard pass, wasn't it? Just trying to thread that little ball like a reverse pass through. Such a clever, creative player in and around the edge of the 18-yard box.
With Nuno Tavares and now Holding. It's Charlie Patino, the youngster, making his first start for Arsenal today. Staying up at the moment, White in possession. Into Martinelli. Was faced by Cook. Tavares. Away from Spence this time. It comes off McKenna's back. And Holding shanks it. Actually for a throw-in.
What do they say about centre halves? Need to stay back and not hit volleys from the edge of the box. I think that just confirmed that with Rob Holding. The opportunity arose. I can understand why he's had a go, but his body shape and position was all wrong.
Yeah, his shirt's not red, but maybe his face is a little bit at the moment.
Never nice when it goes out for a throw-in, is it?
But it was worth a crack.
Absolutely. You know, the ball landed in that area. Why not have a go? It's just getting close enough, getting your upper body over the ball to strike it cleanly.
Always gives the opposition crowd something to cheer about when a shot goes out for a throw as well, doesn't it?
They've got a good cheer.
Yeah, Nuno Tavares. Great atmosphere for this FA Cup third round tie at the City Ground. Forward come the home team once more with Brennan Johnson. This is a good run as well, as Tavares with a lung-bursting run, able to get back and clear, but only as far as Yates. Collected now by Zinkernagel. Good play from him, nobody there in red, and Cedric Suarez puts it behind for a corner for Nottingham Forest.
Well, he's come all the way across to this side, Zinkernagel, and he's crossed the ball to the area where he really would be attacking that far post. So I can understand why there was no Forest player there, but you know, they're really looking threatening when they go forward. They go forward with real purpose, Nottingham Forest, and causing Arsenal a few problems.
Now, what can Nottingham Forest do with this? It's just beyond Worrell. Didn't quite fall well enough for Zinkernagel to get the shot in, and Arsenal will look to break. Martinelli. Now, Albert Sambi Lokonga. Holding. Gabriel Martinelli is waiting patiently on the near side, collects the pass from Charlie Patino. Nketiah on the edge of the box, back with Patino again. Here's Nketiah.
Nottingham Forest more than happy just to sit back and let Arsenal pass the ball around in that area of the pitch, and when it gets to this kind of space they want to try and get out and put pressure on the ball.
Odegaard to Cedric on the far side. He's got Saka nearby. He's the chief string puller, isn't he, in this team, Odegaard?
Yeah, for sure. I think he's got that real relaxed posture, hasn't he, when he has the ball? It's very simple, very smooth.
Classic little Odegaard pass, flicking that one through. This is Eddie Nketiah. Looking for an opportunity, gets the shot away. Whistling past the near post.
He appeals for a corner as well. Not sure if it did take a nick off anyone. He tries his luck.
It might have taken a little nick off Steve Cook, perhaps.
I think it did. Just a slight touch. He certainly appealed for it as soon as he hit the shot with his left foot. He was always drifting wide off the near post, but hands his team a corner, an opportunity for Ben White, Rob Holding. Tavares as well, who's quite a big lad, can head the ball.
Hands on deck here for Nottingham Forest. Half an hour into this FA Cup tie. Still we await our first goal and our first near miss, really, or first real key moment. Comfortably headed away by Johnson. Lovely play by Zinkernagel. Forrest tried to break. Holding gets back. Takes the throw in. Nottingham Forest were rather hoping for a free kick.
It was a clear slip from Ghana, wasn't it? Okay, maybe Holding did make a bit of contact initially, but he certainly slipped over, and I think the referee just saw that.
Slipped by the Manchester United loanee, James Garner, number 37 there in the middle of the Nottingham Forest midfield. And great for players at his sort of stage of development to get opportunities at clubs like Forest. Spence in the way again.
That's brilliant in terms of a loan for a player like that, because it's a big club as well, big support, bit of pressure.
Kieran Tierney just limbering up.
Yeah.
And about to come on.
Looks like he could be coming on.
So Kieran Tierney, and some instructions being dispatched by Mikel Arteta, it would appear, maybe.
Have you seen anyone struggling? I can't really see whether that's tactical. It must be an injury somewhere in the ranks.
Tavares looks as if he's moving okay at the moment, as does Martin Odegaard on the attack. Back out to Saka, who sends the ball to Lokonga. And I think it took a deflection as it sped past the post again.
It's a definite deflection, strike from Lokonga. It's always a good idea to hit through bodies. The ball was on target.
Well, it doesn't matter how you stop it. It was the backside of Scott McKenna this time.
Got the block in, got enough to put the ball wide, but a definite shot through bodies if that had gone through.
Odegaard, faced by Colback. Lovely pass into Saka. Ben White, I think, went down inside the penalty area there. He's looking at referee Craig Pawson. There he is, claiming clearly that he was impeded in some way. Nuno Tavares, we're hearing, is the player who'll be going off. That was the shirt pulled by Joe Worrell. There
was a bit of contact there, wasn't there? It was unnecessary as well. Didn't need to put his hands on Ben White there.
And as Granit Xhaka will know only too well from last week, putting someone's shirt in the penalty box doesn't always work out terribly well. Great catch there by Samba.
He's been quite impressive. I like the way he catches the ball and he's always looking for that counter throw. Done it once already down the middle of the pitch to Davis, but this is a difficult one to claim. Just manages to keep hold of it.
They've done okay defensively this season, Nottingham Forest, particularly when you consider they didn't start the season very well. He's played in all but one of their league matches, so in 24 league games he's conceded 26.
Yeah, it's good. It's good, and I think, you know, all round, we said at the top of the programme, it's been a good season for Nottingham Forest, given where they were when Steve Cooper came in. It's a massive turnaround, isn't it? It just shows you how well they have played since then.
Yeah, they do look composed and well organised, don't they?
Well organised, look like they can score a goal, defensively good. I mean, 6 points off the playoffs. You know, it's a fair way to go in the Championship. You wouldn't rule it out that they could make that top six.
Here comes the change now for Arsenal. So Nuno Tavares going off here with a little over 10 minutes to go to half-time.
Whatever problem that he has, it wasn't really showing it. Perhaps perhaps it's a slight niggle or some kind of strain, but the experience of Kieran Tierney coming on in that position certainly isn't a concern for Arsenal.
So Kieran Tierney, who, as you mentioned earlier, Matt, he was injured in October. He injured his ankle and he had to sit on the bench for 4 games on his return to fitness before regaining his place. Tavares was having a run in the team at the time in the Premier League. So Kieran Tierney on then for Arsenal.
It's great for Mikel Arteta to have that kind of strength and depth, because whatever you say, it gets the best out of your players. I mean, Kieran Tierney really has to step up his game to get back in the team.
And I think Bukayo Saka's gone down in the middle of the pitch. He looked as if he was in a good deal of pain at the time, but fortunately, I think from Arsenal's point of view and from his, he is okay, but he really went down.
Yeah, I think he just caught the heel or the foot.
When he grabbed his heel there, I thought, oh, yeah. is he about to grab his hamstring? I could only see it in the corner of my eye as the ball was elsewhere. Yeah,
it was Zinkernagel just trod on the back of his heel, I think. I think Zinkernagel initially put his hand out as if to say sorry. It was unintentional, but he certainly caught Saka.
Tell you what, though, big relief for Arsenal fans around the world to see him up on his feet and okay, having hit the deck that heavily just then. Forrest defence dealing with the latest foray forward from Arsenal pretty comfortably. Ben White. 10 minutes to go to half-time. Here's Odegaard, now Lokonga. Neat and tidy approach here from the Gunners. First touch for Tierney. That's with Gabriel Martinelli. Patino nearby as well. That was meat and drink for Steve Cook. He'll head those away all day long. Confirmation there of the yellow card for Zinkernagel just a minute or 2 ago.
Might be a little bit harsh. I suppose it was a trip and Saka was running through, but it was completely unintentional from Zinkernagel.
Here's Keenan Davis, who's dropped a bit deeper to try and get involved in the game. Pressure in midfield there on Yates. He was surrounded. Back with Arsenal. Bit of space here now for Kieran Tierney. Sweeping that one across into Saka. White covering ahead of Davis.
That's one thing that Tierney really brings. He makes really good decisions when he has the ball in those areas. He was waiting for Martinelli, saw it wasn't on, and he decided just to whip that in himself. Very nearly came off. His delivery from the left, Kieran Tierney, is so good. He just gets his head up and picks people out.
Given that this is a tight game and there's nothing in it so far, worth just reminding everybody, and you'll probably be aware if you've been watching the FA Cup ties over the weekend, that this will play to a finish today, even if we need extra time and penalty kicks. Long way to go, of course, but that's the scenario. As a reminder, no replays in the 3rd round of the FA Cup.
It's been very even, hasn't it? Both teams really kind of cancelling out the other. Okay, Arsenal will have more possession. They're more of a possession passing-based team, but Nottingham Forest are really limiting them to balls in this area of the pitch and possession in and around these areas.
Arsenal with more of the possession, no surprise there, but Forest certainly playing their part in what we've seen so far in the opening 37.5 minutes of this one. The 4th round draw has been made, by the way, and it's a big draw in the 4th round for the winners of this tie. Home tie against the current holders, Leicester City. Among the other ties, a great one for non-league Kidderminster Harriers at home to West Ham. That's a Premier League. West Ham going to Agbra.
Great tie, that one. All eyes on that one.
Kidderminster about half an hour to the southwest of Birmingham. Collected now by Martinelli. Play back by Tierney. Comfortably blocked and chased there by Davis. Waits for support to arrive. Brennan Johnson did, but it was covered by the Arsenal defence, and it's Tierney who's got it.
I think Ben White's so comfortable in those situations, the way he covers the ground and his mobility. I think is a good strength of his. Any kind of ball down the side with Davis, he's more than capable of just matching him in that channel. Davis with real purpose at the moment. You can tell it's his debut, can't you? Really wanting to make an impression, lay a marker down to the manager to pick me for the next game as well, he's saying. Needs a goal though, you feel, doesn't he? Just to compete with Graban, who's been in decent goal-scoring form for Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, he's having a good year, Lewis Graban. Once again, turns 34 next week, but he's still doing it at championship level to a high standard. 10 goals for him this season. Arsenal venturing forward with Eddie Nketiah. Looked like it might open up for him for a moment.
Did well initially, didn't he? Just turning away from the midfield players and found a little space to drive through.
Heading for the last 5 minutes of the opening half. Out off the boot of Tierney. Steve Cooper there, all in black, down and just outside his technical area. What will he be thinking up to this point, do you think?
He'll be very content with his team. I think he'll be pleased with how things are. This is a key period now, this little 5 minutes before and 5 minutes after half-time. I think a big time in cup ties for sure. We want his players to keep their focus in, not concede before the break. It's hard to see where the goal's coming from either team at the moment, you know, whether it's going to be a mistake or a piece of real quality that can break the deadlock.
Yeah, they played well, Nottingham Forest, but they haven't looked like scoring at any point so far. But then, as you say, Arsenal haven't really created very much at all either, have they, in this opening half? Here's Martinelli. And with Holding. Now, Odegaard, away to Saka. He's got Cedric on the overlap if required. Play going through Odegaard once more. Touch away to Cedric. Hangs in the air for a long time, and Jed Spence is there to nod the ball out of play. Spence. Dug out by Worrell. One in the air by Holding. Cedric holds off Colback. Arsenal back at the scene of their only third round exit in the last quarter of a century. 4 years ago. This very pitch, 4-2, beaten by Nottingham Forest. Eric Lehigh scored 2 of the goals that day.
I mean, it really is a love affair with the FA Cup for Arsenal, isn't it? I mean,
it's an incredible record as well, isn't it?
Amazing record. I think 7 of those after the turn of the century.
Yeah, 4 in the last 8 years.
Incredible.
As well.
And obviously Arsene Wenger a huge part of that.
Yeah, his name very much intertwined with the history of the FA Cup. For Holding, didn't use it terribly well on this occasion. Johnson back to McKenna. Colback available on the far side of the pitch. Oh, and Samba there was taken out by the sliding figure of Eddie Nketiah, who just looks accusingly at his studs there.
I mean, I'm sure it was a slip, because I think Nketiah was just shutting him down. He slipped, definitely slipped. Didn't mean to dive in and slide in like that. Luckily, Samba saw it early and was able to just jump over the tackle, but the referee rightly recognises that as a slip.
Eddie Nketiah, who scored 5 goals in 3 League Cup appearances this season, including a hat-trick in the quarter-final against Sunderland, 5-1 win for Arsenal. They should be halfway through their semi-final with Liverpool now, but of course that was the first leg postponed during the week because of COVID issues at the Liverpool end. The first leg's now at Anfield this coming Thursday. The second leg will now be at the Emirates Stadium a week later. So a big week for Arsenal with that first leg of that semi-final in the league coming up this midweek. And then the small matter of the North London derby next weekend as well, away at Tottenham.
It's going to be so interesting to see what teams Mikel Arteta puts out for these. I mean, how do you rank these games in importance? It's very difficult.
Well, it's also a case of who he's got
sure.
that he can put out, isn't it? Really?
Sure, but also he's got to kind of recognise which game he's going to go all out in and which one he might just change things up.
Here's Davis. He's got support. Philip Zinckernagel was ahead of him to his left. Plenty of red shirts flooding forward now, and they've rather wasted the opportunity.
Well, both Brennan Johnson and Spence went narrow when really one of them needed to stay wide for that pass and just create that balance on the right-hand side, which has been quite effective for Nottingham Forest. They've had some good runs and good positions on this right-hand side, but just a little bit out of sync there.
Well, it's been a fairly free-flowing first half, despite the lack of goal-scoring opportunities. Maybe there could be one here. Oh, and James Garner miscontrolling the ball at the key moment. Closing seconds of the first half. We're heading into 1 minute of added time. Arsenal now countering with Bukayo Saka. Faced by Jack Colback. Collected by Gabriel Martinelli.
It's a great run from Tierney just to try and open that space for Martinelli to get his shot off.
It's even in every sense of the word, isn't it, this FA Cup tie? Saka, closing seconds of the first half. Last chance perhaps for Arsenal to cause some issues. And right on the edge of the box, down goes Saka, looks up, expecting something, but wasn't expecting perhaps the offside flag.
I think if it wasn't offside, it was certainly going to be a foul with Colback. Just didn't react to that little 1-2 quick enough, but the little flick from Odegaard, it's a lovely little 1-2 from Saka, but he's certainly the wrong side of Colback. Linesman rightly gets his flag up.
Neither goalkeeper tested in this first half at all.
Nothing. Says a lot, doesn't it? It's been played in the middle of the park, very territorial, but no real goalmouth action as such.
The first half of competitive intensity, of huff and puff, but so far lacking in end product as far as either side are concerned. Keenan Davis, on his debut up front for Nottingham Forest, has been busy trying to make a nuisance of himself. For Mikel Arteta's team, Martin Odegaard trying to thread through the key pass that might make the difference and create the goal-scoring opportunity. But so far in front of goal, there has been nothing. It is tight, it is level at the City Ground at half-time. Nottingham Forest 0. Arsenal 0. Welcome back to our live coverage from the City Ground. Goalless at half-time. Nottingham Forest's players preparing to come back out. That's so far so good from their point of view, isn't it? I mean, there haven't been any worrisome moments for them up to this point.
No, I mean, no real, not conceded a shot on target, which, when you look at the Arsenal attacking prowess they have out on the pitch, is pretty good from Nottingham Forest.
Famous old stadium on the banks of the Trent. And not a spare seat in the house today for this one, this Emirates FA Cup third round tie. All still to play for as well. If you missed the first half, you've missed an even game, a competitive match, an even game. But you haven't missed an awful lot in terms of goalmouth opportunity, because neither side has managed to get a shot on target. Not for the want of trying. Much of the play really sort of concertinaed into the middle third of the field.
Yeah, I mean, it's been the one criticism of the game, like you say, is it hasn't been a particularly overly dull 0-0, although there's not been a lot of goalmouth action, but it's been so competitive that it's been relatively entertaining.
Mikel Arteta's not shy of making big calls, is he? And I think in the first half we saw one again. He clearly didn't seem happy with Nuno Tavares, the way he was playing. He made the change, Kieran Tierney coming on. Tavares looked very unhappy, he didn't look injured.
No, we didn't notice any injury beforehand, and like you say, it looked to be a substitution of tactical, or just wasn't happy with the performance level. So he's really laying down the law in that Arsenal dressing room at the moment.
No changes made by either side at half-time. Arsenal all in white today. Again, if you just joined our coverage a little bit late and you're thinking, oh, I've not seen that strip before, it's the first time. It's a one-off for them. Arsenal wearing it as part of an initiative to combat knife crime and youth violence in London. The campaign is called No More Red. You can see it on all of their social media outlets. It's a really good campaign. Nottingham Forest with Jed Spence on the attack. Spence has been impressive so far in the game.
He started the second half very similar to the first. All action, plenty of intent. I've been quite impressed with how direct he's been, willing to go where it hurts and be quite direct and go at players. As you can see here, little change of pace, good footwork, few step overs. Really asking the question of Kieran Tierney.
Gets the free kick for the challenge by Cedric, but if you're an Arsenal fan and you're thinking, oh, I wouldn't mind buying one of those shirts, just to let you know, the kit will not be going on sale. It will only be given to people making a positive difference in the community. It's campaign involves Arsenal aiming to build on the club's work with young people in the community and providing more safe, positive spaces. So it's a good community initiative. So, shirts that will have to be earned rather than bought. Ball back with Bernd Leno. Rare chance for him today in goal. Hasn't played in the Premier League since August. His last 3 appearances have all been in the Carabao Cup before today. Ball now with 2-time FA Cup winner Rob Holding. He promptly gives it away to James Garner. It's now back with Joe Worrell.
He looks frustrated there as well, Holding, that wasn't able to get hold of that ball.
Spence threads it through into Davis. Quick to get the shot away, but Ben White was in the right place to make the block. Spence into Davis. Still working hard to try and keep Arsenal pinned back, and it goes into the penalty area. Holding with the header away. Zinkernagel battling for it inside the box. Good feisty start to the second period from the home team.
Well, the home team are really on the front foot, not allowing Arsenal any time to clear their lines properly. Look, the Arsenal looking to keep possession when they win the ball back and try and play out, but Nottingham Forest really pressed up high.
Garner finds Brennan Johnson. Now it's with Yates. And Spence once more, the loanee from Middlesbrough. Davis waits in the middle. This is Joe Worrell. And now Arsenal perhaps with the opportunity to break, and it's Steve Cook who is backpedaling here as Eddie Nketiah can't find a way through.
Well played, James Garner. Really good midfield play that. Just identified the fact that Steve Cook was 1v1 with Nketiah, got himself back in and just made a little 2v1 to help the centre-back out.
Zinkernagel getting away from Lokonga there initially. More positive approach here from the Championship side in the 4 minutes we've seen since the restart here. It seems as if they're just looking to shift up a gear or two.
There's a little bit more edge to their play, isn't there, for sure?
A bit more urgency.
Yeah, it just dampened down a little bit, and they were hanging on. I say hanging on, they were just happy to sit back and just be competitive in that first half, but they've certainly come out in the second half looking to try and create a bit more in the Arsenal area.
Is Holding now. Charlie Patino alongside him. Patino was the biggest headline from the Arsenal team news today. Charlie Patino making his first start, England under-19 international, 18 years of age. Great start to his first team career he made, coming on off the bench in the Carabao Cup quarter-final. And scoring against Sunderland. It's Kieran Tierney. Putting Spence into a corner. Worrell's there to try and help him out. Tracked by Gabriel Martinelli. Forrest doing rather well. It's up to Zinkernagel. Brennan Johnson trying to escape, and Ødegaard in the right place to reclaim possession for Arsenal. Here's Cedric.
I'm just still waiting for that one piece of real quality from Arsenal, whether it be from Odegaard or Tierney on the left or Cedric putting a cross in or something. It's not really happened so far. No real creative quality or that one pass to unlock this Nottingham Forest defence.
A very different look to this game than the last time the sides met a couple of years back in 2019. Arsenal 5-0 winners in the League Cup in September of 2019. Martinelli in possession has scored 2 of the goals that night. Really come close to finding a way past Brice Samba in the Nottingham Forest goals so far. There's White. Odegaard is keen to make himself available for a pass.
And they're really sitting with that back 5 along there at the moment. Nottingham Forest with the midfield players just sat in front, and Davis very deep as well.
Odegaard sending it through in towards Nketiah. Challenge there by Joe Worrell, who matched him stride for stride.
Arsenal have to move the ball a little bit quicker, and what they are doing is a bit pedestrian. They're not going to unlock this Nottingham Forest team and move people quick enough. They're just going to be slow with their build-up. It's got to be quicker.
Patino back into Rob Holding. Now with Cedric. Odegaard had come short. Holding has it. Tierney's available on the far side. Gabriel Martinelli as well. This is Kieran Tierney. .5 minutes in. Still we await our first shot on target. First save to be made. Eddie Nketiah spins away, picks out Odegaard. Faced by James Garner. Tierney. Steve Cook's there. Will ricochet away, and Brennan Johnson tries to get away from Holding. Holding is trailing in his wake. Johnson sent it in. Zimpernagel, great save by Bernd Leno. That's the best we've seen in the whole match from Nottingham Forest. Philip Zimpernagel there, so close to putting the championship side ahead. Much to enjoy about this breakaway.
That's the moment we've been waiting for, to see Brennan Johnson use his turn of pace. Lovely first touch, and what I like about it, he gets his head up, doesn't just cross the ball, it's a great ball in as well. And Zimpernagel can't quite get enough power on the shot to really trouble Leno, who has to get down to his left.
Well, that's woken the crowd up.
It's woken me up a bit.
Keenan Davis waits in the middle and hopes the ball goes his way. His debut for Nottingham Forest on loan from Villa. It's up in the air off Holding.
Not the surest of headers there from Rob Holding, was it? I don't know if he mistimed that or just misjudged the flight. Certainly nearly put his team in trouble.
Forrest looking to ask a few questions now. Steve Cook among those waiting in the middle as Jack Colback sends it over. Just beyond Cook. Martinelli tries to get away. McKenna chasing him down. And didn't come close to picking out Nketiah.
Real breakaways where we saw either team leave that space in behind or down the side, or just get caught out and be a little bit vulnerable. It's been very cagey, very measured this game, which is why we've seen very limited action in either goal mouth. But for the first time, the space was there to run into, and Johnson certainly did that.
Here's Jack Colback now. Philip Zimpernagel waits in the middle alongside Davis. Zimpernagel trying to get away from Lokonga. Now Davis, Colback, Arsenal pinned back a bit here. Lovely play from Forrest. Didn't quite come off in the end, but Nottingham Forest are having a good spell here.
A great idea from Colback, little 1-2. It was a tight space, the ball was ricocheting about in the box, but a nice idea from Davies just to try and play him in here, but Cedric reacted quite well and the pass back was a little bit heavy.
With Ben White at the back for Arsenal. Remember, Arsenal had won 5 in a row in all competitions before last week's 2-1 home defeat to Manchester City. Currently 4th in the Premier League table. This match every bit as tough as Mikel Arteta might have anticipated.
I don't think he'll be too happy with the way his team have moved the ball. They've not been particularly efficient or quick with their passing. I think it's something they have to do better.
Here's Bukayo Saka. Good dink into Eddie Nketiah. Trying to take the return, doesn't quite fall for Martinelli. And Patino blasts it goalwards. And the deflection carrying it behind for a corner.
What opportunity just arose, didn't it? It was a clearance out of the box, it fell to him. Decided to have a strike on goal and asked the question, Rob Holding there.
The Arsenal fans just behind the goal at that end of the ground. Typically congested in front of goalkeeper Brice Samba. Header away by Davis. Colback tries to complete the clearance. Nottingham Forest get the ball clear. There's Saka now. Chance to have a little run at Jack Colback. Nicely done. Great chance. And Eddie Nketiah left frustrated.
Well, he missed a big chance last time I saw him on the pitch at Everton away to score from a similar position, and this is a great opportunity. I mean, he gets it all wrong. The timing of the header, doesn't get the right body position to be able to punch that ball back across the goal, and he really should hit the target from there. Arsenal's best chance by far.
Rather fizzled out, didn't it, that attack?
Good ball from Saka as well. Not seen too many times where he's been able to face up at Colback there and get a good quality ball into the box, and Nketiah should be doing better. It's a striker out of form, isn't he? A bit rusty at the moment.
Forward towards Saka once again. Comfortably and confidently taken by Samba. Colback had come short and wanted it on the near side. It's back with Steve Cook making his debut, having arrived from Bournemouth during the week. To Jed Spence, trying to feed it up the line towards Johnson. Cedric. Colback's got his hands full, isn't he? Quite literally trying to grab hold of Saka at the moment. Cedric backing up. Garner going down, it'll be Nottingham Forest's ball. But that's heating up, isn't it, Saka against Colback?
Well, he's upped his ante, Saka. He's realised that he's going to have these one-on-one situations, and he's really got to go at Colback, which he does well there, gets the wrong side of him. But I've been really impressed with the midfield, two of Yates and Garner. I think they've done a real solid job for Nottingham Forest so far in this game. They've supported the centre-backs and the full-backs really well in those situations, and Garner there making the tackle.
Discussing their options there.
And one man looking on behind them. Whether or not he'll be introduced soon, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, it's Lacazette, who's captained Arsenal recently. resting on the bench for the first hour at least of this match at the City ground. This is Phillips and Canagle. Lokonga tries to flick it away. Colback nudging it forward. Johnson trying to get hold of it. That was a hefty collision there, which sees Yates go to the ground, and Martinelli protesting his innocence.
Well, a heavily fought ball in the middle of the park. I think as Martinelli just jumps, Yates gets the full brunt of his body weight into the side of him. I feel that both players probably had the right to go for that ball.
He'd have felt that though, wouldn't he?
He would.
He knocked him halfway into next week.
He would, yeah, because he got the full body weight of Martinelli as he jumped.
His expression rarely changes. Steve Cooper on the touchline. Might in a moment if his team can do something with this.
Feels like this game needs something special, doesn't it? Special moment, a free kick.
Well, this is James Garner, the loanee from Manchester United, the man to provide it. Leno might need to be on his toes here. Garner sends the kick in, it's a good one, it needed saving.
Well, he didn't disappoint. Garner worked Leno comfortably there.
Oh, Arsenal don't make a very good job of clearing their lines. Colback was hoping for something on the edge of the penalty area before that. Referee Craig Pawson happy for the game to go on. And Nketiah goes to ground, and there is a free kick now, and Garner pounds the ball into the ground in frustration.
And he's frustrated because he knows that Nketiah has bought that foul. Yes, he got the wrong side of Garner. As we look at his free kick here, it's a good effort. Just gets over the top of the ball. It's going in and around that top corner area, but Leno has plenty of time to see it.
That was what Colback was complaining about.
Yeah, I mean, not too much in that for me. The ball's loose and both players attempting to try and get it. Colback was at full speed and ends up on the floor.
Tell you what, we haven't got any goals, Matt, so far, but we have got ourselves a proper cup tie, haven't we, here with these two?
Very much so. And it's just hotting up a little bit more. And each minute that goes by, you can just feel the temperature creeping up.
Well, Arsenal know they're going to have to improve. And Lokonga concedes a free kick.
Well, Arsenal haven't been good enough when they've had the ball. I really do feel that.
Is
As we
that
see
challenge
that chance.
again?
It's a bit of a slip from Colback. He almost like just overcooks it, can't put the brakes on to get the ball. Yes, there's a bit of contact. Saka's there as well, but I don't think there's any force from Saka to knock him to the floor.
Crackling atmosphere. Goodness knows what it'd be like if Forrest actually put the ball in the net. Garner again. This time looks to put it on someone's head in the middle, but it's safely gathered by Leno.
That's good goalkeeping from Leno. Came a long way, had to get that right. Saw the passage where he could go and claim it, and very clean hands as well.
Away by Arsenal once again, this time Saka the guilty party.
And knowing the way that Mikel Arteta likes his teams to play, there'll be a lot about this game so far that he won't like with Arsenal in possession.
Arsenal starting to look a little bit frustrated with the way this game's panning out.
Definitely a little bit ragged with the ball, which is something that he's meticulous about. Mikel Arteta is one of his biggest things about clean possession of the ball and moving it quickly and usefully. Arsenal haven't done that in any real purpose in this game so far.
Cedric sending it forward into Saka, and Colback snapping at his heels, and Cedric gives it away, and Canagle unable to make the most of that sudden, unexpected opportunity to feed it forward towards Keenan Davis, the number 9. It's Rob Holding, Steve Cooper preparing to make the first change for the home side. Davis having made his debut, he might be the man to come off. Lewis Graben on the bench, but with 10 goals to his name already this season, raring to go. But here's Keenan Davis now for Forrest. Colback hurtling through the middle. Davis held up by Cedric. Support arrives in the shape of James Garner. And it's comfortable for Leno.
I think Davies has got to drive inside the pitch a bit earlier there. He allowed the Arsenal players to usher him out wide, and there was a decent little run from Colback, who'd continued on into the middle of the pitch. Just don't feel either team's really going, for the heart of the opposition yet, really trying to drive in key areas and hurt the opposition. It's all a little bit wide in wide areas, which isn't ending in any real efforts on goal.
Saka. Garner gets it off him. Colback. Samba still hasn't really had anything to do, has he, Matt? And we're 65 minutes into the game.
That says a lot, doesn't it? It's pretty shocking from the Arsenal perspective. They haven't really tested him anymore. Good attacking, creative players on the pitch. And one of the key points about the starting lineup, when you look at it, was the fact that you had Martinelli, Odegaard and Saka, those three just behind Nketiah, is a really attractive proposition.
Still looking for a bit of inspiration from somewhere. Some composure as well. It's with Kieran Tierney. Looking for the run of Martinelli. Spence saw him coming.
He's not going to get ran all game, I don't think, Spence. It's one thing he has done brilliantly. He's got up and down the pitch on that right flank, tracking Martinelli all the way there.
Here comes a change, and Lewis Grabban is now going to come on, the 33-year-old striker. 10 goals this season. Keenan Davis on his Nottingham Forest debut on loan from Aston Villa, having played for 3/4 of the match, makes way for Forest's top scorer.
Well, he's certainly shown that he's going to be physical, Keenan Davis. I think he's bustled around, tried to unsettle the Arsenal centre-backs, but he's not had many or any opportunities on goal. And that is Grabban's speciality.
Here's Nketiah now, sends that shot in.
Just can't hit the target. Nketiah at the moment, second real effort on goal. It's a tight angle. He's got to try and get his foot across it. Even if he doesn't hit the target, pull that back across the face of the goal. You've got Saka running in at the far post. Any ball rolled across that 6-yard line is a really dangerous one. He can't quite make it happen.
Alexandre Lacazette is getting ready to come on for Arsenal, I think, in the not too distant future. Just past the midway point in the second half, we still await the first goal of the match. Remember, whatever happens, we will play to a finish, even if it requires extra time. And beyond that, there is, of course, the possibility of penalty kicks.
I mean, even both managers are matching each other up of what changes they're making in terms of centre forwards coming on and off.
Charlie Patino is the player who will be coming off for Arsenal. Alex Lacazette, who's captained the side recently, being sent on by his manager. And Charlie Patino making his first start for Arsenal today. Comes off in the 69th minute.
It's an interesting change in terms of tactically, how will this work out with Patino going off, Lacazette coming on. I think Odegaard will be the man to maybe just sit back a little bit. Whether or not Lacazette will just sit behind Nketiah, or whether we'll try and play a two-up. Lacazette giving out the instructions as he goes onto the pitch.
Here come Forrest with Grabban, the substitute. He's only just come onto the pitch, trying to win a corner. That's exactly what he's done. It was the best he could do in the circumstances.
He had no way out from there. Like you say, the best thing he could do is get a corner off Ben White, which he achieves.
Scott McKenna up from the back. Steve Cook will be up there as well. He's standing just behind the penalty spot. Garner, not quite sure where to go there for a moment. Cross back to Brice Samba. Nketiah trying to close him down. 20 minutes to go at the City Ground. It's a tight one, this. Colback looking for Grabban. Cedric across.
Does quite well there. Cedric just gets across, deals with the ball in the channel. tell Graben already with some of his movement. He picks up good positions, tries to ask a question of the centre-backs and lure them out of that central position.
He's got lots of experience, hasn't he?
Yes, that's how he's playing. I mean, he's lost that little bit of pace. And you saw Davis running around really quite frantically and using his physicality in that first half, but Graben certainly does have that experience, as you mentioned.
He's played in all 4 divisions of the league. Painful blow there for Philip Zinkernagel. He looks ready to continue with the match. Nottingham Forest to the Championship, looking for a big final 20 minutes here. Big push as they aim to try to knock out for the second time in recent seasons, and in the 3rd round of the FA Cup, one of the big favourites. Arsenal were the holders the last time they played at the City Ground in the Cup 4 years ago. And a free-scoring 4-2 match, bit of a different one today. This is Rob Holding. With Ben White. Tierney back into Ødegaard. First touch here now for Lacazette, just off the bench. And the pass is loose enough to allow James Garner to just step in.
It's been the story of Arsenal's build-up play, to be honest. They
haven't passed the ball very well, have they?
Not well at all. And like you say, it's Mikel Arteta's mantra, really, about moving the ball, angles, patterns, passages of play, the quality in the movement. And I suppose it comes down to energy as well, Simon. You know, it's a sticky time of the season, isn't it? And you've got to find the energy from somewhere.
And Ødegaard will get the free kick there, conceded by Zinkernagel. Just bounced into the back of the Arsenal player.
Idris Elba there looking on. Nottingham Forest fan or Arsenal, maybe?
Arsenal rubbing his hands at the prospect of the last 20 minutes there, I'm sure. He's very much involved with the No More Red campaign. As are several other prominent Arsenal former players and supporters. Ian Wright involved in it as well. Cedric with the free kick now for Arsenal. Disappointing outcome from their point of view.
Very much so. Not on the same wavelength. Nobody heading towards that back post, and the ball just clipped high up there. Very comfortable for Nottingham Forest just to deal with it. It's been the one real thing missing out of the cup tie, is just the ability for either team to really put the opposition under pressure in key areas of the pitch and get their key players into the game as well.
Spence has done brilliantly here up against Martinelli, who gets back at him and hacks into the floor and has to go in the referee's book for that.
That's a certain yellow card. Really bustling run from Spence, who's been really good all game. Martinelli had a first bite, and then that's just a reckless tackle. Nowhere near the ball. Frustration really that he couldn't hold Spence up in the first place.
And Nottingham Forest preparing to make another change. Carlos Diaz is going to come on. And the applause is for Philip Zinkernagel. And Zinkernagel getting a great reception from the home crowd as he leaves the field.
Yeah, he's had a decent game. Zinkernagel, been probably one of the players, you'd have to say, out of Nottingham Forest that has tried to create and get in areas, cross the ball. Obviously had their best effort on goal as well when Johnson crossed it, when he got behind Holding. So interesting change from Steve Cooper.
Martinelli receiving the yellow card, confirmation of that for his challenge on Spence. Samba has it covered and safely sees it out into touch. Forward by Holding. Here's Cedric. Arsenal struggling to prize open a well-organised Nottingham Forest team today.
They've been very stubborn, haven't they?
Absolutely.
Drop to that back five whenever they need to, getting Cole back all the way back. Spence dropping in, really making the three centre-backs narrow. And that is where we're talking about moving the ball quickly. Arsenal, that little creative play, that angles, the quick passes just haven't been there today. Not been able to shift that back five quickly enough.
It's back with Ben White now for Arsenal. So Forrest now with the two changes made in the second half. Lewis Graben the first to come on, Carlos Diaz the second.
Interesting to look at the touches stat there, with White and Holding leading the way. I mean, the amount of times the ball has been passed between the two centre-backs tells a tale, doesn't it? It's not the area of the pitch where Arsenal want to be high in possession and high in passes. They want to be passing the ball higher up the pitch.
Well, back with Rob Holding now. Clock's ticking on this cup tie. White finds Ødegaard.
There's nobody stretching the pitch either for Arsenal. Nobody willing to run behind, try and dislodge the centre-backs from that really tight three. Spence picks up his yellow card as well. This late tackle on Tierney comes inside. It's definitely late. Just catches Tierney's left foot.
Jed Spence, the latest to go in the referee's book.
Yeah. Been impressed with him. He's had a good game on that right-hand side.
Great crowd inside the City ground. Nearly 25,000 packed in for this one. And it could open up here for Arsenal, perhaps. Bukayo Saka, wider than he would have liked, and Lacazette was almost in there, and Worrell did enough.
Worrell did more than enough there. Really vital piece of positioning from the big centre-back. I thought Saka was going to cross this early, just put it across the box early. Lacazette was coming in, but he has a touch, tries to pick him out, and Worrell does really well, gets back in, just puts Lacazette off, gets across the face of him. It's good defending that.
Samba taking his time. Both sides looking for that one moment that could be enough in this cup tie. Samba sends it long, straight onto the head of Lokonga. Getting into the last 10 minutes of the 90. What gives? Who will prevail? Will we know in the next 10 minutes or so? Or will we need an extra half an hour? Played by Holding, initially at least. Lewis Graben now. It's an untimely slip. Garner flicks it forward. Graben, tiny control up against Cedric. Saka challenged by Colback, no foul. Ødegaard. Graben tries to win it back, and now Craig Pawson brings the play back.
back to your initial question, the first 80 minutes is anything to go by. I think we'll be needing another half an hour. Again, it's just cancelled out in this area of the pitch. Lots of scrapping for the ball, very competitive, both teams, but nothing of any real note in the 18-yard boxes. It's like watching a boxing match with two fighters just jabbing each other from a distance. Nobody really stepping into the pocket and hurting the opposition.
Here's Ben White. He's looking for Saka. Kenner's there, Lacazette sniffing around. Samba sends it away to the far side, and Spence forward, and the flag goes up against Brennan Johnson, the Welsh international.
A good line from Arsenal. Ben White saw it all the way, saw Johnson just drift offside and stepped up. Very Arsenal fashion, with his hand up in the air.
We saw Burnley get knocked out of the FA Cup yesterday at home, and Newcastle United as well. And Watford beaten, albeit by another Premier League side, the holders Leicester City. And Arsenal have got work to do if they're to go through to the fourth round and face the current holders Leicester. Forrest giving a really good account of themselves here, and still with every chance of going through themselves.
I mean, the prospect of another home tie against Premier League opposition is big for Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, Nottingham Forest against Leicester City would be a good one, as would Arsenal Leicester as well. Whoever goes through, it'll be a great tie. Here's the chance, and Lewis Grabban is there. Finally, the deadlock's broken, and Arsenal, with 8 minutes to go, are in big trouble now. Nottingham Forest of the Championship. Are they about to do it again, just as they did in 2018? Lewis Grabban has come off the bench and grabbed them the lead.
Well, this is exactly what you see when you see quality and purpose both come together. Something we haven't seen that much in this game, but there's certainly plenty of that in this move. It's a sloppy pass from Lokonga, gives the ball away, but take nothing from the cross. It's a brilliant ball in that perfect area, just between Leno and the back four. And Grabban, as we've spoken about before, he's that instinctive striker in front of goal. It's a really good finish. He has to get it right. He's outstretched his right leg, his full stretch there, but it's a lovely controlled touch into the net. Leno, absolutely no chance, and whether or not they're appealing for handball there from Lokonga. But what a delivery into the box, plenty of pace on the cross, and he has changed his facial expression there.
Yeah, finally. It was a good ball from Ryan Yates as well, wasn't it, from the right-hand side?
Great ball in.
Really good ball. What a test for Arsenal now. They haven't got long. In the 84th minute. Remember, Arsenal have only been knocked out in the third round of the FA Cup once in the last quarter of a century. That was on this pitch 4 years ago. Is history going to repeat itself? There is still time for Arsenal to claw their way back, but Nottingham Forest of the Championship finally get their noses in front.
Would VAR have pulled that back for handball? Would have been interesting.
Yeah, no VAR in this one, as Cedric sends it across. And the ball goes behind, and it's going to be a corner for Arsenal.
Just under heavy pressure there from Rob Holding. I think it was McKenna with the clearing header. This is very much game on this last 5 minutes now.
Well, he's capable of some great deliveries. He needs to put a decent one in now. It's headed away by Garner, collected by Odegaard once more. That one was just high and hopeful. All hands on deck for Forest. They'll be playing like men possessed now. Brennan Johnson, oh, lovely piece of skill. He's away from Cedric, who's chasing him for all he's worth, Cedric, but Johnson's still going. Good play by Johnson. He'll be more than happy to get a throw in from there, having used up a bit more time.
Well played. He needs to get some oxygen on board as well. It's a bit of a lung buster, wasn't it? And then you've got that horrible little change of direction at the end, but valuable yardage for his team, just getting them up, controlling the pace of the game in this area of the pitch. Last 5 minutes is crucial.
Well, Forest fans haven't had too much to shout about for quite a while now, but they are certainly doing so at the moment, and you can't blame them. Their team in front with 5 minutes to go against Arsenal, who've won the FA Cup 4 times in the last 8 years.
I mean, it's simple. Arsenal haven't done enough in this game, for sure. Forrest have been sitting there, boxing clever, not really exposing themselves, and they've got their just rewards. It's up to Arsenal to step it up and make something happen in this game.
Arsenal still looking a bit ragged as they send the ball forward, and Samba wallops it down the other end of the pitch, and Spence is still full of beans.
Great pressure, lifting the crowd as well.
As if he needs to do that.
Yeah. I'm not sure if they need too much more encouragement at the moment. But he has been everywhere. He's covered every blade on that right-hand flank.
Well, Steve Cooper's team have really got the City ground rocking today. From a neutral point of view, an FA Cup third round weekend that just seems to keep on giving. It's been a wonderful weekend of cup football. Not that any Arsenal fans would concur, of course, given the situation their team are in at the moment. It's the substitute Diaz. Was hoping for a free kick, never going to get it. Covered by Scott McKenna.
Funny back pass, I think.
Yeah, sort of kneed it back, didn't he? Yeah, Arsenal was saying, well, what about that, referee? It was a back pass.
It was with the knee. The referee spotted it, but when he did it, I thought, let's hope the referee does spot it.
Collected by Kieran Tierney. Arsenal need to go in the other direction. Leno, now with White. Cedric near side. Played in towards Nketiah, can't keep hold of it. He had Steve Cook following him around, and here come Forrest again. It's Diaz, the substitute. It's into Lewis Grabban. This time Arsenal's defence able to make the block, and Yates can't keep the attack going. Lacazette digs it out into Saka. Odegaard tries to send it past. Arsenal look panicked and hurried.
They're panicked and hurried, and Forrest are on the front foot, really anticipating the ball, stepping in, cutting out passes. You know, they're the team with the goal. Arsenal need the goal. This is a really nice move from Grabban. He makes that run from out to in, which is everything. Diaz sees it, slips a little ball in, gets another half chance on goal. It's been effective when he's come on, hasn't he? Grabban obviously got the goal, but led the line really well.
Here's Tierney. He's done well. Colback with time. More than time enough to safely see it into the gloves of Brice Samba. Sead Kolasinac preparing to come on for Arsenal. There's Ben White under pressure from Grabban. Well, Forrest have been a mixed bag at home this season, you know. They've lost half a dozen matches in front of their own fans in the league. Admittedly, most of those had occurred early in the autumn before they really turned their season around. But they've lost more than they've won at home. But they've looked pretty good today. They're not quite through to the fourth round yet. Last minute of the 90. Cedric Suarez. Now with Saka. Arsenal looking for that one special moment, and it hasn't come for them yet, and time is almost up. Lokonga. Kolasinac still waiting patiently. He's going to come on to replace Cedric. Should there be an opportunity. We're just waiting to see how much added time we'll have at the end of this Emirates FA Cup tie.
It's a bizarre change at this stage, isn't it?
Heading into 3 added minutes, when at a time when Arsenal really need to throw the lot at Nottingham Forest. Lacazette losing out. Joe Worrell just toe pokes it forward.
Well, Forrest just need to be careful they don't get too deep here, just sit off too much, allow Arsenal too much ball in the middle of the park. They need to get out and put pressure on the player with the ball.
We're 2.5 minutes away, all things being equal, from the final whistle. As Kolasinac comes on for Cedric.
Not too sure what attacking prowess that substitution's going to bring, whether or not that Cedric has a problem or he's shifting to a back four possibly, I don't know.
I see Martin Odegaard looking across to the technical area there for a moment.
It's going to be some kind of positional shift you'd like to think.
Kieran Tierney winding up for what we presume will be a long throw-in into the heart of the Nottingham Forest penalty area. Here it comes. It was Yates who won the initial header and Jed Spence who cleared. Forward by White, away to Tierney, who's clearly onside. Lacazette getting involved in quite a tussle with Joe Worrell. Referee Craig Pawson has seen it. Kolasinac, first touch for him. Tierney. Holding. Arsenal looking still for one moment of real quality that might keep their hopes alive in this cup tie. Spence, safety first. Arsenal throw.
He's played well, Worrell as well. I think Spence and Worrell on that right-hand side been very solid for Forrest.
Now Arsenal are going to throw everything at Nottingham Forest, but time is almost up. In it goes towards Holding, didn't get close to the ball. And Nottingham, is he given a foul throw?
I think so. It looked like the foot was over the line as well. Too much emphasis on distance from Tierney, and I just don't think he quite executed the throw-in properly.
If Forrest hang on here, how big of an upset do you see this?
It's big. It's a big upset. I think everyone expected Arsenal to turn up and really, produce the goods in this game. They just haven't. They haven't been good enough across the board, especially in possession. As we mentioned, been so disappointed with their passing and movement. To produce that one moment that we've been looking for in this game.
And they've played well.
Yeah, you have to give them credit, been very sound defensively.
Well, we're in the last few seconds of our minimum allotment of 3 at the end of this match, and Steve Cooper's just wondering how much longer he's going to have to hang on and bite his nails. Great excitement in the stands at the City Ground. They're on the verge of a very big victory, and one of the big heavyweights of the FA Cup on the verge of going out of the competition at the first hurdle. Time is almost up for Arsenal. They've got a throw. Will there be time for them to take it and get the ball towards the other end of the field, or will it be Nottingham Forest Day? Craig Pawson is looking at his watch, and Craig Pawson is blowing his final whistle. Upset at the City Ground. Nottingham Forest, famous old name of the Championship these days, have knocked out the record 14-time FA Cup winners Arsenal, and they've done it in the third round for the second time in 4 years. 4-2 in 2018, 1-0 today. Lewis Grabban scoring the goal 8 minutes from time. There's the hero of the hour on the banks of the Trent. A packed house at the City Ground, ecstatic, and you can't say that Forest didn't deserve it in the end.
Absolutely not. Thoroughly deserved the win. Arsenal, who on the day were nowhere near good enough, weren't really at the races with the ball, not creative enough. Mikel Arteta will be so frustrated, but this is Nottingham Forest's evening for sure. They've deserved it with the way they've played, how solid they've been, and they've just got that key moment with Grabban. Really clinical in front of goal, and he'll be delighted, Steve Cooper.
Arsenal just didn't perform on the day. They didn't create very much at all. They hardly tested Brice Samba in the Nottingham Forest goal, and those travelling Arsenal supporters look stunned at what they've seen. It's a big knockout blow by Lewis Grabban and Nottingham Forest. One of the big favourites for the competition, Arsenal, have been knocked out at the first hurdle for only the second time in the last 26 years. Great scenes of celebration at the City Ground. Nottingham Forest have beaten Arsenal by 1 goal to 0.